Okay, we're recording now. So what's up YouTube? So basically I forgot to start recording this call, but basically what I'm explaining to this my friend here, Junior, is that I'm trying to explain to him, but they say he's struggling with entries and he's struggling with marking up his charts. So this is just me explaining the markup for him, how we can be able to approach the market to be able to know when the correction is over and when to consider the market. So bro, I go again. So you have that price is telling you that hey, above here I'm bullish, above here I'm bullish. Let me start this all over again so it makes sense. So I'm sure it makes sense for you, and I'm sure it makes sense for people that are watching from YouTube as well. So I'll delete these drawings, then I'll start again. I say we have a level here, right? Then price comes to this level. Yeah. Okay. So we have a level here. All right. So let's say we have a level here, and price comes to this level, gets this zone, comes here again, gets this zone, and then eventually price ends up breaking this level, right? This is an indication. Now, what most people experience that gets them confused is that price most of the times, sometimes comes here and breaks above instead of just retracing into this area and continuing this trend downside. Price instead give a deeper retracement, and that leaves most people confused as to if this is a new indication or this is an indication. Now they don't know what to do and they don't know how to approach the market in this instance. Now I'm saying that what you can do is that first of all you need to consider where price is coming from. So let's say that in this scenario, price was coming down from here, right? Price was coming down from here in this scenario. Now, this thing happening, you have to always remember the fact that price was coming. This is a downtrend. This is still a downtrend. So the fact that price took out these highs doesn't change the fact that it was still coming down all the way from here. So this is still a downtrend, right? So this being a downtrend, you still have to put that into consideration and know that this break above here is not enough reason for you to take a buy trade. Now, what you can do in this situation to be able to capitalize on this scenario and still be able to catch a position for yourself is that you can mark this area out, right? You can mark this zone out. 1 second, but I want to take this trade on NASDAQ because it's a good trade in my opinion. So I'm taking the sell on NASDAQ. Hold on. All right. So as I was saying, the fact that what you can do to approach this scenario is that you want to mark this out, right? You want to mark this out to acknowledge the fact that, you want to mark this out and acknowledge the fact that price took out this level. So you want to acknowledge that fact and have this in mind, right? So now you have this in mind, what you can do to approach this situation. For you to take buys, what you need to see to take buys is that you need to see price do something like this. You need to see price pull back in here, forming a higher low, and then giving you a new indication to the upside. Because now this gives you price giving you the intention that it wants to continue pushing higher. And that you now can confirm that okay, that price is now making a new higher high and higher low for you to now start looking for buys back under these levels. Right? Because now you know for a fact that okay, this is a new indication. So if price pulls back into this area, back above here, you can now start looking for buys targets here and potentially higher. Right? So this is what you want to do to be able to look for buys in this scenario. So let's say in the situation whereby price wasn't really coming on a downtrend, it was coming from another trend. Let's say it was an uptrend, right? Let's say price was coming from here in this. So if price was coming from an uptrend in this scenario, then you should know for a fact that price is coming from an uptrend in this scenario. You shouldn't even be looking for sales in the first place because as you know for a fact, it's an uptrend. And for the fact that it's an uptrend, you should be looking for buys. So this in turn, in this scenario, you can take this buy from here because price was already on an uptrend and now price corrects itself and now gives you indication to the upside of price trying to continue pushing higher. So of course you can take this price from here because it's an uptrend. But in case that it is in a downtrend, for you to take buys, you need to see extra confirmations. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, you need to see extra confirmation because just because you see ICC doesn't mean that it's going to play out. You need to see ICC in a you need to see ICC showing you buys in an uptrend, or you need to see ICC showing you sells in a downtrend. You don't want to be seeing ICC showing you buys in a downtrend. If it's clearly in a downtrend and there is no much opportunities, you want the opportunities to make sense for you to take the trade. Now, I will show you the scenario whereby we have a downtrend, but you see ICC showing you trade on an option. So I'm going to use gold because we experienced this in gold today, just a few hours ago. So I'm going to be using gold to make that instance for you. So let's go to gold and use charts. So here in gold, it's actually another trade that I would like to take if we get the 1 hour closing. But here in gold, we experienced this today. We experienced that price here on gold is in a down. Let me use let me just zoom out. Go to the 2 hour time frame and mark this out for you. So you have here on the 2 hour time frame where price is clearly making a downtrend. How do I know it's the downtrend? You have this level here, you have this high here, and you have this high here, and you have this lower high here. Then you come and you have lower low level here. You're still seeing my screen, right?
Yes, I am, clearly.
You have this lower level here, you have this lower level here, and then you have this lower low again here. So this clearly screams downtrend for you. Someone that isn't well informed is going to think that it's an option, but if you zoom out, this is clearly a downtrend. It's just a downtrend in the higher time frame. You get what I mean? So for you to take buys in this kind of situation, you want to see it make sense in sense of an option. So here we have this that we know for a fact that on a bigger time frame, gold is on a downtrend. But then we go to the lower time frame, like the 45 minutes time frame, and we see price here. Because I know for a fact that okay, I was looking for price under this level, I'm looking for sales. But I noticed something else. I noticed that here had this push to the upside, which you can say in the lower time frame, this is an indication, right? And then price makes the push to the upside, forming this new high. After this high, price corrects itself, and then back again above this level, price makes another high. Now, what this new high, let me tell you this. Now, what this new high here tells me is that price is simply saying to me that, hey, that above this level, price can go this high, right? So even though we are on the downtrend, price is telling me that above this level, I can go this high. Now, it's not enough feeling for me to take sell buys, but the reason why I now find fitting to take buys is that we now see that price comes here, corrects itself, struggles to go lower, and even struggles to break this previous low here, right? So now, buys above here makes sense because it's the short-term buys and you're targeting these highs, right? It's not like you're trying to take price to take away the uptrend and change it and be the hero that push gold from being a downtrend to an uptrend. You're just taking short-term buys. You know clearly that this is a short-term buy. So for a fact that it's a short-term buy, you're targeting these levels. So when price gets to this level, you are closing your trade because you know that gold on the bigger time frame is on a downtrend. And on the small time frame, you see potential to take a buy.
Yeah.
Right? Does that make sense? And so remember, I'm using what is currently going on right now on gold. So it's not like I'm trying picking anything. It's just what's currently going on gold that I'm saying. So in the case that you want to take sales, you know, that in case that you want to take buys, you know that it's a short-term buy. Then in terms of sales, you know that sales is more long-term. And if you know that if you see price under these levels, you can expect some sales in the market.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's in a downtrend, and then under this level, you have ICC as well. So under this level, you can expect to take some sales in the market to target these lows. That is where you can say that, okay, it's in a downtrend, but I can take buys. So when you have a big picture that overall the trend is downtrend, but you see short-term buys that make sense. Yet, so back on NASDAQ, in terms of entries, I'm also going to use what happened right now on NASDAQ in terms of entry, right? So let me go
Going
to
to
the
use what?
1 hour. I'm going to also be using what's happening right now on NAS in terms of
Oh,
entries.
okay.
With I took a trade
All
right
right.
now on NAS. I don't know if it's going to play out, but I took a trade which you saw, and I'm going to trade that trade right now. So I saw in this situation, I used the 45 minutes time frame because it made sense on the time frame. So I used it to mark out that identify that this area is an area of interest that price has struggled to break past previously. We've seen that price struggle to break past these levels, right? And seeing that price
Yeah.
struggle to break past these levels means that price can be on the downtrend, and then price gives up an indication here showing us that hey, under these levels, price can go this low, right? Then seeing this
Yeah.
price does that thing I showed you earlier. Price pushes up, but doesn't just push up, but ends up going way higher,
Yeah.
right? Now price goes up way higher, price is coming back. This doesn't disqualify the fact that under these levels, price can still targeting these highs. And why do I determine that? Because from the higher time frame, we have this push to the downside. We have this downtrend turning down to higher time frame. So there's no, even though you have here, let me break down this straight for you using the real time frame. I saw here on the time frame that obviously price has been buying massively. So we notice that recently we have these levels where price starts to try to correct itself. So we are expecting some corrections in the markets. Does that make sense? So on the daily time
Yeah.
frame, we're putting some corrections in the market. So you seeing this available, I'm now going down to the small time frame to identify where we can expect those sales to come from. And that's why I went down to the lower time frame, like before time frame, where it made the most sense. And I identified that okay, under this level, price can actually target this levels. So
Yeah.
seeing this correction here, even though it's deep, it was deep. I took a buy here actually as well because the reason why I took the buy from here, um, oh, shit. The reason why I took the buy from here initially was that I was also seeing that overall trend that doesn't sustain the fact that overall trend is too bullish. And then I was also expecting that both here price can go higher. But this was Friday. I took the buy. It was around this area. It was Friday. I knew that um I used the 1 hour time frame, I think so, or is it 30 minutes or so. I knew that okay, I was on this candle. I knew that this candle had no bottom week, but it was just pushing crazy that Friday. And I didn't want to go any drawdown or I was good with my profit and I was just okay. And I don't know if you saw it on my IG, but I was just okay with the trade and I closed the trade. It happened that I
Yeah.
got
So
lucky. I got quite lucky after I closed my trade. Price ended up dropping.
this
But
boost really
even if
down.
even if price dropped, I wouldn't have lost the trade. I would have been quite risky. It was obviously price was almost at my tip, my target. So it doesn't make any sense for price to almost be at the target and you still have your stop loss at the initial place. You need to move it to entry because price has already moved way and almost at your targets, right? So
Yeah.
seeing that I took away my profit because it was Friday, like I said, and I got lucky, price ended up reversing. Now seeing this new situation now, I saw that under here I can look for sales, right? And knowing that under here I can look for sales, I'm looking for sales because I'm expecting some sales in the market. I marked out this area. Now entries where you are thinking this is the important thing. Wherever you are looking to take the entries from is from where the time frame that we saw in the trade that made sense for me in particular, right? So I like the 1 hour time frame a lot, and the 1 hour time frame makes sense too. So that's why I use the 1 hour time frame to identify this trade saying that okay, if I can get the 1 hour closure under this level, I'm going to start looking for sales. I put this on my I don't know if you're on my Telegram, but I put this information in my Telegram right now. It's already there. I say that under this level, I'm going to be looking for sales. And after I saw the price on the 1 hour close under these levels, as I told you, I want to take a sell on Nasdaq. And I took a sell on Nasdaq, and my trade is making something like this at the moment. My trade is making something like I took the sell right here, as you saw, and I had my stops either here or here. So I can have it here, and then my target is this low. This is my current trade on Nasdaq. And the reason why I took that trade, obviously, is that overall in the daytime frame, I'm expecting some sales. I'm expecting some corrections. So seeing that price has obviously struggled to go higher, and I know for a fact that under this level, I'm looking for sales. This push does not disqualify this move that I see here. When this move I see here is gets disqualified, is maybe if I see that price came down under these levels, maintain this level and started to push higher, then this
Yeah.
automatically disqualifies this analysis that I have here, and I can now close it out. But as you can see, price did not do that. because there was no buyers in the market. And obviously, we know for a fact that under here, sellers are in the market. Sellers are in the market and can push price lower. So on back under this level, I'm already in a sell and I'm hoping to see price under here, right? I don't know if this makes
Yes, sir.
sense, but I'm just using what is currently going on in the market, using the life analysis to explain your problem for you. So I'm trying to show you that it's not really a problem of maybe you don't know how to mark up. It's just that you get confused a lot because you get too focused on what is happening right now that you forget the big picture in your mind. As long as you have the bigger picture in your mind, as long as you have the bigger picture of what it has been looking at in bigger time frame, once you have that bigger picture in mind, then you know what you're expecting overall, and then you know if you what you're taking is a short-term trade or a long-term trade. Because most times we tend to take trades that are supposed to be a short-term trade. We try to hold it for long term and it's fucked up. It's fucked us up every single time. And sometimes trades that we're supposed to hold for long term, we hold it short term. So you need to identify these informations to be able to know where your problem is actually coming from. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So is there something else you would like me to clarify for you?
Mm, okay, you said that we should always wait for the 1 hour closure.
Yeah. If you are
Yeah,
if
to
you
work
are
on my
I
patience too.
like the 1 hour time frame a lot because it plays a big role in ISIS. That's why I say that. I like the 1 hour time frame a lot because it plays a very big role on ICC. So I like to use the 1 hour, but in terms of where I see price, maybe I see the ICC makes so much sense on the 45 minutes time frame. I still love to see 1 hour closure. So what I would advise you guys still struggling with some things is that I would advise you to wait for 1 hour closures, right? So when you wait for 1 hour closures, when you get 1 hour closures, then you can now go down to lower time frames to now specify your perfect entries.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so you want to wait for 1 hour closures to then specify your perfect entries. But as long as you see a 1 hour closure, you see ISIS, you see indication, you see correction, and then you're seeing continuation, and you see 1 hour closures, then I now give you access to now go down to lower time frames to get your perfect entries. But if you don't see a 1 hour closure, there's the chances that if you go to the 5 minutes time frame, you're going to see price closing under these levels on the 5 minutes time frame. But on the 1 hour, it's completely rejected itself, right? So
Yeah.
the key takeaways that I want to take away here is first things first, identify your session based on your schedule. Second thing, identify your pair that you trade, back test your pair and see the pair that works well for you. Third information is you should journal your trades. Fifth information is that you should always have your mind on the bigger picture and also what the short-term picture is looking like. You should always have this in mind. That's the takeaway that I'm giving you on this trade, on this my mentorship here. And that is I think that's all. Is there any takeaway information that I didn't mention? I think that's all. And also, one more
Okay.
information is that you should always trade during your session. Trade the
Yeah.
pair that moves during your session and always trade during your session. This breakout that happened here, do you know why I wasn't picked out here? I was not. This is 1 a.m. This was Asian session. I said this session it doesn't make sense, so I'm not going to take it because there's no volume during this session for my pair. That's why I wasn't picked out here. But if I was someone that trades outside of my session, then obviously I would have lost this trade.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I want you to take away. And yep, we have 4 minutes left. So do you have any other quick question you want to ask?
No, I'm good.
So I will just recommend you to. I'll send you the link to the journal that you can use to journal your trades. I will also send you the
Okay.
link to my YouTube videos for you to go and watch my YouTube. But I really do have quality information on my YouTube. I agree. My previous videos when I started YouTube recently, my audio was bad. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't even care about the editing, so the audio was bad. But what I advise you is that you should go to those videos, even though the audio is not so good. But you should really watch those videos because those videos, I'm telling you, it has real quality information. So if you can watch the videos and just see the topics that you're struggling in, I label them based on topics. So if you can see those topics, see the topic that you're struggling in, watch the videos, you will get really beneficial information in there. All right.
All right.
So I'll send you my YouTube link and my templates link. Are you on my Telegram channel as well?
Yeah, I've been there for long.
All right, cool. So you're already there, so you already know what's going on in there. That's probably why you decided to hop on this call, because you believe that I can help you. And I'm happy I was able to help you today. I hope I was able to help you today. And I would like you to share me your journey. Whatever you're struggling with in the future and you get into somewhere you're struggling to get something done, then you can always reach out to me with a message and I can respond to you, something like that. But if it gets to a point where you may want to be mentored by me, then I also offer that. But I don't think you need my mentorship right now, because I think you need to identify. I've already given you the roadmap to actually find your way in the chart. So I don't think you need a mentorship from me. But if it happens that you need it, I'm here. But if you don't need it, that's cool. You're killing it. And if you just apply these things I told you, I believe that you will be good. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, have a great day. I'm outside, so I'll be home very soon. All right? So have a
All
good
right.
one.
Thank you very much.
All right, cheers.